What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Interesting news. Just read an article about Miguel Vasquez, and he was talking about potentially facing up against Yuriorkis Gamboa. He says, I don't really pay attention to critics. People can criticize Gamboa, but all I know is that I would love to fight him. I have a lot of respect for Cuban boxing. They have a great program and produce great fighters. Gamboa's 31. As you guys know, he moved up to 135. He fought Darlis Perez, and it wasn't a spectacular win, in my opinion. I think most people would agree that Gamboa has looked better at the lower weight classes. At 130 and 135, he has not looked exceptional, especially as a fighter who was really regarded as baby Mike Tyson, just this explosive, elite, unstoppable fighter. Now, don't get me wrong, Gamboa definitely has skill, he has tools, but sometimes I don't feel I don't know if he's too cocky and he thinks he's too good and he doesn't have to do much, or he's just banking on the speed. But his style is in the higher weight divisions just doesn't look all too impressive. I see flaws in his game plan, flaws that not everybody can exploit. But I feel fighters that are naturally bigger than him, taller than him, larger reach, could definitely exploit if they are on a solid level, and especially fighters with experience. People like Adrian Broner. If Gamboa were to move up to fight Timothy Bradley, they were talking about having to move up two weight classes at the time to face Timothy Bradley at 147. I think that's a horrible matchup for Gamboa. Not that Bradley is the biggest puncher, but he is far more seasoned, and it just seems like Gamboa, when he can't shock people with his power and speed, he's just kind of like going through the motions, and he just seems kind of lackadaisical. There's no pep in his step. Sometimes it takes for Farinas or somebody to knock him down, and then he gets reinvigorated. So that's just my opinion of Gamboa at the higher weight classes. Again, he's a good fighter, a solid fighter, but I don't rate him as high as some people may have him rated. As far as Miguel Vasquez, he says he would love to face Gamboa in a unification fight. Me personally, I said this in my last video talking about Gamboa. It was called What's Next, Yuriorkis Gamboa. I said it in that video. I would love this fight. Miguel Vasquez, he was trying to get a fight with Broner. Broner moved on to bigger and better things in his opinion. He's facing Paulie Malignaggi. Not this weekend, but the weekend after that. And Vasquez was trying to fight Ricky Burns. He got sick. Ricky Burns pulled out of the fight completely, so he's looking for a fight. He's trying to become that marquee name. Some people have criticized Miguel Vasquez for having an elusive style. Some people might call him boring or say he doesn't fight like the traditional quote unquote Mexican fighter. He's not just a brawler, he's a thinker in there. So some people nowadays, especially like all action type fighters, the fighters who come solely to scrap, like the Brandon Rioses and whoever else. Um, but you got to learn to appreciate all the styles in boxing. As far as this fight, I would love to fight Miguel Vasquez, and I think he could actually pose a lot of problems for Gamboa, especially if Gamboa can't just hurt him early or hurt him um, good with a solid punch. This dude Vasquez is very, very slippery, very stealthy, very crafty, and on top of that, the dude's like 5'10", 5'11". He's very tall. Gamboa is very short for 135 pounds. That's another reason why, aside from performances, why I don't really see Gamboa becoming dominant in that many more weight classes. I don't see him moving up to welterweight. I just don't think he has the frame for it. He might be able to put on the muscle, but he doesn't. His stature, he's very short. His reach, things like that. The elite level fighters at 147, for instance, um, will probably be able to take his power. In addition, they're going to be outsizing him. Um, so can you picture like Marcos Maidana versus Gamboa? I just don't really see it. Yet, a lot of people say Gamboa still slaughters Broner, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to opinion, but based on what? If you look at the guys fighting, I would say Broner has been looking better. He obviously has the size to move up to welterweight in terms of his reach. Very long arms. For those of you guys that don't know, Broner has the same reach if not slightly longer arms than Canelo, who fights at 154. So he's a big boy. A lot of people don't give him credit for. So a lot of people still think, they say Gamboa will kill Broner, yet people are mentioning after Marcos Maidana's triumphant win, his great win against Josecito Lopez. A lot of people are saying the Malignaggi Broner winner should fight Marcos Maidana since he won against Josecito. But I haven't really heard anyone saying that Marcos Maidana, an exciting fighter, Gamboa, an exciting fighter. I've never really heard anyone say that those two should fight. And I don't know that Gamboa would even want to take a fight like that. Just my personal opinion. Um, but anyway, Gamboa, he's talented. Sometimes he just doesn't. It looks like he's lacking effort, or It's like a smart student who doesn't really apply themselves and they're skipping class. I don't know. I don't know how to really categorize Gamboa, but at the higher weight classes, he hasn't looked stellar to me. That's just my opinion. Back to Miguel Vasquez versus Gamboa. Great fight. I really like this fight. This fight can be made. There's no Cold War promotional beefs that would hinder this fight from being made. I don't know who promotes Miguel Vasquez, but as you guys know, 50 Cent, he promotes Gamboa. So SMS Promotions, they can definitely get in contact with Vasquez's people and make that fight happen. Um, yeah, Vasquez, I think, is with Top Rank, to be honest. And last thing Vasquez said was, honestly, I think I'm a better fighter than him. I think I'm a more complete fighter than Gamboa. He always is saying that nobody wants to face him, but I want to fight him, and it is a fight that can be made. So again, I really like the matchup. What do you guys think of this matchup? Miguel Vasquez versus Yuriorkis Gamboa at 135. It would be a unification fight. Gamboa in his last fight against Perez, he did get an interim belt, a WBA interim belt. I like the fight. I think Gamboa will have problems based on the craftiness, the slipperiness of Vasquez, and the height and reach and range of Vasquez. But it is a winnable fight for Gamboa, and it's a winnable fight for Vasquez, which is why I want to see it. What do you guys think of this fight? Let me know. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego, signing off.